Hey, it says I'm live. Are you watching? Welcome to another Film Threat watch party for the independent film, which you're going to love tonight, Mandao Returns. It is a sequel. This is the first time we've had a sequel here on our Film Threat watch party. I'm excited you're with us. You survived the week. Whew. Another week in 2021. Get ready. The movie is free if you have Amazon Prime. And look, more people have Amazon Prime than voted in the last election. This is a very bizarre statistic that I learned. Go on to Amazon Prime right now. Look up Mandao Returns. I have it all queued up. I've got it, folks, right here on my iPad. Do you see it? Do you see it? There it is. There it is. Check it out. However you watch it, this is a second screen experience. That means that you're watching myself along with the filmmakers and the cast. You're watching the movie. They're talking about it. Let's get ready for another Film Threat watch party. I'm so happy you're with us. Another quick reminder to everybody out there, in addition to getting the film, which is on Amazon Prime. I even put, look, I made it convenient for you. The link is right there. You have no excuse not to see this movie. It is right. It is right. Do you see? Do you see where it's scrolling right there? You see it's scrolling. Check it out. Get the movie queued up as we get ready. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. I personally just enjoy these Film Threat watch parties because one of my favorite things to do in the world is to talk to filmmakers. And guess what? I'm not going to be the only one talking to the filmmakers here tonight. I am not going to be the only one. You can talk to the filmmakers. Post your comments and questions and your feedback right there in the chat. Look, we've already got some comments. Woo! Mandao! Look at these comments are rolling in. Look, wait, Gina, we're going to see you later, Gina. We're going to see you later. So, but you're welcome to do that. That's awesome. Everyone is excited. So post your comments and questions. I'm very excited you're with us. I want to bring on one of my colleagues here from Film Threat, one of my favorite writers, before I introduce the filmmakers and the cast. Chuck Foster, how are you doing today, sir? Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah, I'm so ready. I love these guys' movies. I follow their career, and I'm really excited about watching this with them tonight.
And I'm excited because I don't know anything about the behind the scenes, and Scott and Gina are like a tour de force, if you ask me, multi-talented, in front of and behind the camera. So I don't know anything about the making of the film. So this is all going to be new to me. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you reviewed Mandao Returns and Mandao of the Dead for FilmThreat.com.
Yes.
What can audiences anticipate? And will there be a third movie? I want to make sure that we get the answer to that question.
Yes, I want to know that too. I'm definitely looking forward. As far as I know, this is meant to be some sort of a trilogy, but we'll find that out. But it's a very unique type of comedy for what we have in today's age, and I really think people will latch onto it and appreciate what's going on here as opposed to what we get in other comedic elements here, if that makes any sense. I don't want to give too much away.
Don't give too much away. But one thing I do know, having watched Mandao Returns, is that it inspired me to eat cereal. I had somehow a craving for cereal. I don't know why. I just had and also what's great is when you're an adult, you can eat cereal for dinner. I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this. I just got on this new cereal now that is it's called Magic Spoon, and it's this keto cereal. It's pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Check it. I'm not. You know what? They're not a sponsor. I have nothing to do with Magic Spoon. I am just a consumer. I'm a person who enjoys their product. Look, we still have so many comments coming in. Look at this, everybody. Hey, all right, we have people watching us on Twitch. That's right. You're watching this on Twitch. You're watching it on Periscope or YouTube or Facebook. Thank you for everybody. Post your comments. Cereal is awesome. I totally agree. Get your Cheerios, Sabina. Thank you so much. Laura's here. Wait a sec, Laura. Any relation? I think we'll find out. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's bring on the cast and everyone else. Let's bring on, first of all, Gina and Scott. Welcome. This is so excited to have you here.
It's great to be here. We're fans.
We're so excited.
This is so cool. When I said earlier, I just love talking to filmmakers. It's like my favorite thing to do because every filmmaker has just a different journey. You in making this, I guess it's a biology now, soon to be a trilogy, right? Does that make any sense? I don't know that makes any sense.
I've never heard biology. Biology? What is it?
A biology would be two movies.
I like it.
That makes, I don't know, it makes no sense. But in the making of this, you did a successful Kickstarter. And can you talk a little bit about what went into that? Because, I mean, having done a couple successfully and a couple unsuccessfully, that is like a full-time job. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we worked with Justin Giddings. He's also known as the Kickstarter guy, and he was like our crowdfunding consultant. And basically it consists of messaging every single person you've ever been in contact with, every follower, every person in your family, their friends, their neighbors, everyone, and just kind of rallying them to donate to your film. And so we got a team. We got a bunch of USC students who helped us out, and including some of our cast as well. And we managed to successfully fund our film in 11 days.
However, we did a Kickstarter for a different movie that we didn't end up doing, but that was a tremendous failure.
Yeah.
Ended up, we tried to raise 47,000, but only eked out like 1,700 something. I don't know. So when we went into this Mandao Returns, we were like, I don't want to fail like that. That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing, but a good humbling moment. I think it made us really take it seriously. I think a lot of people they just put it up there for Kickstarter and they think, people will show up, but they don't. You have to really seek it out. And it's like a campaign. It's a real campaign.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to take it seriously. And funny you mentioned Justin. I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago about a Kickstarter I plan to launch in about a year. So, yeah, he was really helpful. He was really helpful. He had like really great advice. And like you, I have failed with a Kickstarter. You think just because you've built up a following, that doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? You really have to keep them engaged. And Scott, I really have to compliment you too, Scott. Having seen you in the film, what I love, one of my biggest pieces of advice I always give to actors is you should produce yourself. I mean, you're so good and so charming in the film, and I really think that's the best thing an actor can do. And I don't know which you prefer, actor, director, like all those different hats that everyone wears. Gina, you know for sure how all the different hats you have to wear when you do a project. But I don't know. I'm just singing your praises. I really have to. I don't know but which do you prefer of all of the different hats? For both of you, a question, Scott and Gina. What's your favorite hat to wear in the production?
Well, I guess I'll go first. I really enjoy. I like it all. I mean, I really do, because I'm directing these great actors. I really enjoyed this cast. I mean, I actually legit love them. They're fun to direct, so I'm having a blast. But acting with them, I mean, come on. I'm having a great time. The writing of it's fun because it's calm and I can do whatever I want within budget. I like it all. I really do. And by the time I'm ready to edit the film, I'm really ready for that, to sit down on my butt and figure it out. Yeah. How about you?
Producing encompasses so many things.
Yeah, when I produce, because we don't have a budget to hire a lot of crew, I'm the caterer, I'm wardrobe, I'm makeup, I'm hair, I'm this, and I do everything. So my favorite part is the editing process when everything is in the can and I don't have to do so much.
That is the more relaxing part of it. That's for sure. You mentioned the amazing cast. We're going to bring them on in just a second. So everyone who's among the cast, if you have to go to the bathroom now, this is your last chance. Or if you need a second drink, I would get it now and maybe keep a third one. But I want to remind everybody watching, post your comments and questions. Get the movie now. It is on Amazon Prime. It's free as part of your Amazon Prime subscription, which a lot of people don't even know that they have Amazon Prime. And Amazon Prime, when you start to take that deep dive into it and you go down that rabbit hole, so many great films on there, and along with some original series. Scott's grabbing his drink while he's doing that. Let's bring everybody on. Let's bring on the cast. Sean, Jenny, Sean.
Hey.
What's up, y'all? Good to see you, everyone. I'm gonna rearrange I'm gonna shuffle the deck here. I'm gonna move us around and get everybody ready here.
I feel like I'm in Clue.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to fade into the background once the movie starts. But a question for all of you. Let's start with Jenny, and then we'll go to the Seans. Involved in the project. What was that like? Tell us about that.
It was probably one of my fondest memories before going into lockdown. I haven't stepped foot into a single grocery store since March. So that's to show you how locked down I've been.
Damn.
And so getting to act, and it was actually my first feature film that I ever acted in. I'm a content creator, sketch comedian. So a lot of the stuff I do is short form comedy, nothing more than maybe 18 minutes tops. So it was really awesome to work with, this amazing team of people. And I already knew them because my husband was in their first film, in the first Mandao. So I was already incredibly inspired by them. I went to Comic-Con when they did a panel that year that my husband was on, and I just really wanted to be friends with everybody because, as a filmmaker myself and as an actor, and that's kind of what we all are here. So not kind of, that is what we are. We're multi-hyphenates. So it was really nice. It was very inspiring. So it was a freaking blast to get to do this with them.
Same question for the Seans. How did you get involved?
I'll let Liang go first. I might have a lengthy answer.
I was gonna say you go way back. Y'all go way back. So I actually came to know everyone here from the first movie we had. They had auditions for, and I auditioned for Darth, who Jenny's husband played.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And it's a funny because they contacted me after they finished production, said that they wanted to add a few more shots in with a new character called Cousin Andy, and honestly, the fact that they made me family, was probably the most touching part to me, because being a Chinese American actor, I didn't think I'd get to be a family member, but I got to be this time. So, so that was really fun for me. And then to get to go further into the story, which I fell in love with when I read before the first audition. I'm so grateful to have been able to play more with these guys and really explore the story with them.
Great. Well, other Sean, or wait, yeah. Wait, how did you refer to everybody when you with the Seans? Did you have a different name, or how did you keep from confusion?
I usually call Sean McBride Jackson, and I call Sean Liang Cousin Andy. Or Andy.
Yeah, okay, we are the characters.
That makes perfect sense, actually. That's awesome.
And they call me asshole, so it's all good.
That's cool. Well, Sean, what is your story and how you got involved? You said it was long and involved.
Yeah. I won't get too long with it, I guess. But I've known Scott for a long time, probably since 2010 when I moved out to LA. He was out here. We met in an acting class. We did that for maybe a year or so. Then that kind of dissolved. The acting teacher moved away, and then basically lost touch with Scott. And then he got a hold of me. I want to say maybe 3 years later. I
think so.
And we did a short. What was the name of that? yesterday or
I think
today?
it was called Today.
Today, yeah. And we did this little short, and then I want to say another 6 months to a year went by, and we'd started to kind of get in contact with each other. We would go to coffee shops and just try to figure out, what is it we're going to do in LA? What are we here for as actors, as artists, and what's the next step? And Scott was saying that he used to do things when he was younger. He always kind of wanted to be someone who made his own movies. And so I was just like, man, you should just start making your own movies. And I think as we are all involved with this, the best way to get ahead in Hollywood is to do it yourself. It's the hardest way, but it's also, I think, the best way to get in the industry, because going the audition route is very difficult. It's very hard. Everybody here knows that. So I was just like, yeah, man, just do your thing. Like, I'm totally behind you. You want me to be in your next movie? That's when like Schlep came along. We went and did that out in. We went to Desert and did that, and it was and that was a hell of a time. It was a great experience. It was great. A big learning experience.
That's a great film.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We loved doing it, and it was a lot of trial by error. And Scott really fucking stuck it out. And he we came back and we basically reshot like 90% of it or something like that. So, yeah. But I mean, he kept going. He didn't quit, and that's very important to understand, especially when it's you're making independent films, which is pretty difficult on its own. So we went back and we reshot like 90% of that, and and I think Schlep turned out pretty good. It's a really great indie movie, I think. So anyway, that's I can go on and on and on about this whole process, but it was we did Schlep, and then I was like, what are you gonna do next? And then he had a Weird Folk thing come around, and we were gonna do that, and then that kind of fell out. I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Scott could probably fill you in if you want to know that story. But that being said, then we jumped into Mandao, and Mandao was that was a lot of fun. The casting for that was fun. David Gallegos was really fun too. That was really fun being in the auditions with him and Liang. Yeah, I mean, with the way that you've got the movie structured, anything is possible. We're bringing people back to life. It's pretty cool. It's maybe Maeve breaks out of jail. I don't know.
We don't even know. Well, I won't say that.
Maybe I start making conjugal visits. I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of like I don't want to keep going on and on here, but and then we did Mandao Returns right before the pandemic hit, and that was pretty crazy. Literally weeks. Like it would have really messed up things, and we got it finished. We shoot fast. The crew is great. It's just an awesome experience.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, Sean, I mean, you really said it right. For me, just like having been around as long as I have in this arena, the best thing is to just hire yourself and give yourself an opportunity. You can't wait for someone to give you an opportunity. You sit there, whether it's auditions or fundraising or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Don't wait for, what is it? The Duplass brothers, Mark Duplass says, the cavalry's not coming. The cavalry isn't coming. Use the resources you have, hire yourself. And even if you look at some of the, big people in Hollywood, I mean, so many of them famously gave themselves an opportunity by creating an independent film that starred themselves. The Duplass brothers with The Puffy Chair, or Billy Bob Thornton, Sling Blade, or even like Tom Cruise today is a producer on all of his movies, effectively developing material for himself. Like, it doesn't end just because you get hired by Hollywood. You really have to be self-generating when it comes to creativity. So
I want to add something also. I got to take my hat off to Jenny Lorenzo. I am so impressed because you put out content like it's nobody's business, and it's that you've got an excellent work ethic. I'm just here sitting on my ass. I'm like, God.
Yeah,
Jenny's
she said she wanted to be friends with us. I was
awesome.
aware of her content before I knew that she was married to David, so I think that's pretty cool.
We were lucky as hell. Yeah.
Well, I know that Scott and Gina initially were like, well, we thought of you for the role, but then we didn't want to ask you because we thought you were too busy, and then the person we cast couldn't do it. And it's funny because that happens to me a lot, where people are like, oh, Jenny's fine. Like, Jenny has like 1,000 videos to do, but it's my own stuff. And you guys know, you get tired of producing your own content and putting yourself in your own videos. And I also play an old lady for a living. So it's actually really nice to play my age range and also, you know, be a part of something outside of what I do. So when you guys approached me, I was thrilled.
We were so excited. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, when I was writing the script, I'm like, oh, this would be really good for Jenny, but she's not
Too
good.
famous.
It was very serendipitous.
And one thing I've learned over the years is it never hurts to ask, right? You know?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, no.
You're right. You're right. By the way, my cousin Andy and my uncle Bill are here. And my sister Laura is here. And a lot of people. I'm seeing all these people in the comments. And hi, how are you? So, are we going to start the movie? You want to?
I have it queued up.
Okay, it's all queued up. So let's actually bring the movie up.
Right.
Bring it up on screen. There it is.
You do, Gina?
It's you got the, you can
push it.
right
From
logo.
beginning. Can you push watch from beginning?
Yeah, I already did.
Okay. So maybe Scott, you want to give a countdown and everybody will press play. I know that's like kind of the opening logo. So you might be a few seconds off, but at least you'll be able to see kind of where we are within the film so we can all comment along. I'm going to watch it on my iPad. So everyone out there, get the movie right now. It's on Amazon Prime. Whether you're watching us live and you can post your comments or you're watching this later, you can have your own watch party. So Scott, you do the honors on the countdown.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start.
Here we go.
This is something we saw in a different live stream from Film Threat. They actually were showing the movie. And we thought that was really cool and actually very helpful for this. And this opening shot is a wonderful drone shot from Harold Hohenthal, who grabbed this during the
lockdown.
Yeah.
Where did you shoot the film?
It was near Burbank. Like, Gina, what?
No, it was North Hollywood in Studio City. The location where it's cousin Andy's house, that is actually Marissa Hood. She's an actress, and we gave her a co-producer credit on this film for lending her house to us.
She played Maeve in the first movie.
Yeah, so that was really nice of her. Really cool. Yeah.
Our wonderful DP, AJ Young, he's in the audience right now. He does an amazing job every time he's one of the hardest working men in Hollywood, and his shots really, I mean, he took it to another level. Yes.
AJ, the man, the myth,
AJ,
the legend.
Scott, I know Insidious was a huge influence on you. Can you speak about that here?
Yeah, the thing is, Gina introduced me to Insidious, and I was like, I thought that it was just a haunted house movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, whatever. And we kept watching, and when the astral projection thing came in, because I was aware of astral projection, it came into play, and I was like, whoa, okay, I'm paying attention. And I just thought it was the coziest thing. I was rooting for the family. I was rooting for them to get through it and to live, which is, I think, important in a horror movie. You want to root for the characters to live, as opposed to like, I can't wait till this bitch dies. I really love Insidious. Now the sequels weren't as good, but that first one really. Actually, I did a piece in My Favorite Horror Movie 3, which Chuck Foster gave me the wonderful opportunity to do, and it was fun. It really influenced this series.
Another big influence was Back to the Future. Scott really is obsessed with Back to the Future. Like, he watches it religiously in the background when he's working. I'm like, again.
Yeah.
And he kind of melded the two. So he uses astral projection as like the new DeLorean,
Exactly.
So that's like the mode of time travel, and like.
Look at Jackson's eyes. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sean McBride wore contacts on the day because I got contacts for him. And he had a really hard time putting them in. It was like it was like irritating your eyes, Sean.
Oh, God. Well, yeah.
It took him like an hour to put on.
And in the edit, I was like, this just looks like he's wearing contacts. Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering. So what happened? Were you not able to make them red, or you didn't want to make them red, or was it?
It looked like you were wearing contacts.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Just black it out.
I went into After Effects for the first time in my life and I made you have black eyes. It actually worked out nicely.
Yeah, look, it's
Sorry about that,
very-
Sean. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just kind of curious. I was wondering why they weren't red. I didn't know if you'd run into like a hiccup or you just decided creatively to go with like the black eye. But
Yeah, black
either
eye.
way, it's still pretty freaky.
I want to make note. This is something that I fell in love with in the first Mandao was set design. I am such a set design freak. It's why my second bedroom's full of props, and I just love. I don't know whose vision is that really?
Both Gina and
Just like all the little things, like the little details of the design, especially like for Christmas and Halloween.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we always think we never have enough.
yeah.
I think it's very. I don't know how to explain this. It's realistic. It's very quirky and just unique. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we'd like to thank Goodwill.
Yeah, Goodwill. A little bit of Amazon as well.
Cheers
But,
to Goodwill because for keeping it real.
But the spirit box itself is iconic to me. The way it's even designed, the little face on it, those little details go a long way in indie films.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we just kind of have to use the thing about Mandao. They live on the cheap, and they're like a ragtag team. So I guess the set design also reflects that, but it's kind of a happy mistake because it's reflecting our budget. It's like we work with like less than $30,000 to make movies, so everything that you see is like dirt cheap, and it looks cheap or quirky because of that. So
That I like it.
thank you very much, darling.
I feel like
That
we were
was one of
constantly
the
taking
questions.
inspiration from each other too, from the decorations. Sorry, I'm sorry. Did I cut you?
No, go ahead.
I mean, I want to say that like I feel like we kind of as we were going and like the set deck, everything sort of like inspired each other. Like the actors inspired that. I mean, I got a lot of ideas from my own home decoration. So I mean, I think that was fun too. I mean, like it was like we used everything we had, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right. Hey,
Is
Lucy.
that actually a picture of your cat?
It did become that, yes.
Yeah.
That was Marissa Hood's cat. I want to answer Lucy here. I'm going to get better at this. Where did you get the idea for the spirit box? That's a great question. The spirit box thing, I watch YouTube all the time. Jenny's channel for one. But besides that, I also watch this guy, I think it's called Huff Paranormal. Take a look at that. He supposedly talks to celebrities.
Dead celebrities.
I saw one. He talked to Michael Jackson. He talked to Robin Williams, and he had this awesome spirit box. I'm like, holy crap, we got to use that for Mandao. So I kind of was inspired by that. Huff Paranormal.
I love the crystals.
Oh yeah, that we got at Goodwill. That was great.
Wow.
It was like $1.
Yeah. Not even. It was like 50 cents.
Oh yeah.
They were having those sales where like on Thursdays, everything with an orange tag is like 50 cents or something.
It's great.
Yeah. I get all my character stuff at Goodwill too.
You had the exact. This is Randy, right? Nikori Gaming. I had the exact same in my last apartment.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you guys have this running theme of slackerdom going through your movies. Like, what's that all about?
It's easy to relate. Being not exactly being a slacker, because I actually think we hustle quite a bit, but it can feel like you're a slacker when people don't understand what you're doing as a career, or they're like, well, yeah, that's great, but why aren't you driving trucks or something? Something with immediate cash.
Yeah. Why aren't you making money yet?
Yeah. Where's the money?
Yeah, where's the money?
I'm getting Stranger Things vibes from those lights. I love it. That's great because we're definitely inspired by Stranger Things on some level. Look at Sean here, cousin Andy. He's so mischievous.
All the time.
In this sequel, Mandao Returns, cousin Andy takes a bigger role. In the first one, it was like we were just discovering his character. In this movie, he is just really driving it in a way, driving the plot, how it gets started, how we have to get out of the mess he puts us in. And I think he did a great job.
Well,
Oh,
hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi.
When the film begins here, Jay and Jackson are kind of like, in a worse position than in the first film. So how did that come about? Like, why is Jay just sort of like checked out?
Well, first of all, I didn't have access to the apartment from the first one, so I was like, I guess they moved. I guess. And I also thought it would be kind of an interesting thread to see. I was watching some Spider-Man 2, and I liked how Tobey Maguire's guy, he kind of was trying to stop doing it, trying to stop being Spider-Man, and I kind of wanted that pull, like, Jay's going to try and follow his dad's advice at the end of the first movie, which is don't ask to project. So I figured he's been holding it back, but once this adventure starts, he has no choice but to use it. And yeah. Hey, Dad.
Hello, Mr. Dunn.
Here we go. An astral setup. I always love when AJ puts up the lights, and AJ Young, the DP, he really gave us this astral look. He's in the first movie, I think we were using China balls and things of that nature. And this time we had something else. Forgive me, AJ. You can tell us in the comments what you used. Oh.
No.
We're already starting to. But shout out to AJ for making these astral scenes so cool. Very simple, too. Very simple.
I will just say, Mr. Dunn, we cannot hear you. And
sorry, Dad.
Now, the binaural beats, that was a really interesting development to bring into the story here.
Thank you.
I hadn't heard of binaural beats really in like 10 years. So what made you want to bring that into this storyline?
Honestly, I've used binaural beats before. There's like a chakra meditation I use, and they use binaural, whatever binaural means. I think it just means both ears. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what that means, but I was like, so on YouTube is a big inspiration for me. On YouTube, there was a binaural cocaine. I was like, what the?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, there was like push cocaine. It's supposed to make you feel like you're on cocaine. So I pushed it. I was like, oh, this isn't working, but it's very interesting. And I figured, we need something different than the first movie. The sleep mix was how I went under for the first movie. And I was like, we need something a little healthier, something that could be relied on going forward in the franchise. So that's what that was. I thought it was kind of cool to kind of inception it up. They push a button and they're like, and they go to sleep,
And there are whole communities, not just on YouTube, but Facebook and other places where different people try to astral project, and they use meditation. They also experiment with drugs, and they also experiment with binaural beats and things like that to try to get them into another plane of existence. So we wanted to incorporate the binaural beats to kind of as a quicker, faster way to get to the astral realm.
Yeah. This is Jim O'Doherty here. He plays Ted. He's a friend of mine back in the days when I was on Disney with Kicking It. Disney's Kicking It. And he was generous enough to let me be on that show and saw something. And even better, he's actually a really funny guy. Like very, very funny guy. He was only on set for maybe 2 days. But
it's funny because he's actually like a showrunner. He's not really like an actor. He just kind of occasionally acts in things. So it's funny that he just doesn't.
Well, he played the bailiff in Third Rock from the Sun, which he also wrote.
Yeah.
He played the bailiff. His name was Clem, and he did a great job. In fact, another great thing he did was Basket Case 3. Okay, everyone, go look up Jim O'Doherty in Basket Case 3. He's gonna kill me for this. That's why he's not showing up tonight. So, Basket Case, it's great. 3.
Jenny, you had a lot of scenes with him, right?
Yeah, he played my manager, and it's interesting because at the time I was fighting with my own talent manager, which I no longer work with him. So I brought a lot of that anger into that.
It was cathartic.
It was. I got into like a massive fight with him one of the days. I don't even know if you guys know that. I got into a pretty bad fight with him.
No, I didn't know that.
In my car as I was arriving on set one of the days.
Oh my god,
I didn't know
that's
that.
funny.
You know, it's Hollywood. What are we? We're fighting with our managers. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't kill him though. He's still alive.
Well, you and Jim had great chemistry, so I think whatever you were feeling towards your real manager, yeah, that worked. That really worked.
But Scott, that's another thing that I noticed with what you wrote here is there's definitely a feeling about Hollywood that comes across, like a comment that you're making here. So I'm wondering if you could elaborate on that.
I would love to, actually. I spent a good amount of time. My time in Hollywood has led me to make a movie like this. In some ways, I've just met some interesting characters out there, good and bad. And I thought to myself, there's a lot of talk in Hollywood about sacrificial rituals and things of this nature. But you hear it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard anything in Hollywood. Actors here. Have you guys heard anything about like rituals and things that go a little more cultish?
Like the
Called Scientology.
Definitely.
I've heard. I mean, yeah, Scientology being the biggest one.
Right.
I can tell you about one offline.
What's that?
I can tell you about one offline. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Oh, you're spicy. I actually, when I first went out to California, I was really bored. So I actually visited the Scientology Center. Not to join, but to see their digs. And it was really nice. They have big fireplaces, but I was creeped out. And now I never stop getting emails.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's
They never
crazy.
stop. But as far as this movie, the element of Aura Garcia and having a talent manager who and introducing the Hollywood cult, that didn't come in until my last two drafts. I wrote 7 drafts of Mandao Returns, and then 2 months before we started shooting, I threw it out and rewrote it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out, because the Hollywood cult thing is one of my favorite things from this movie.
Yeah, and it ties together really well with Cousin Andy's business model.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a future for that in this series.
Yeah, we'd like to make it a series.
Yeah. You mentioned at the beginning, Chris, about and Chuck about like, is there going to be a third one? And that has been the plan. But I think that we get a lot of buzz at the beginning of these movies. But I can't help but think what it would be like if we did shorter episodes that we could release a little bit over time. And I actually think
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
We could bring
The content creator thinks it's a good idea.
Well, you kind of inspired us, actually. Honestly, seeing your hustle. I mean, you're like really on it.
Yeah.
And you were like, wow, she's really good with her fan base. She really puts out consistently good work. And I'm like, I want a piece of that too. I want to put things out more.
Yeah, because I mean, the fact that you have all these features under your belt is like, whoa. Because that's what it's like grass is always greener, right? Like I wish that I was doing features and I mean, now my producing partner Kevin and I are going to start doing more episodic type serialized content versus sketch versus very quick moments.
Yeah.
Because my audience is also, they just want to see themselves represented in a way that you don't really see on TV.
Yeah.
And, seeing a diverse cast in front and behind the camera doing sci-fi horror comedy, I mean, that's not common.
Yeah.
And so I think serialized with this universe would be really great, because then you can build your fan base more easily.
Yeah.
And then take that to pitches and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just thinking about that because, in short form and giving people regular content, they get to see our faces more. We get to build that following, and they get to know the Mandao universe. And, I mean, that would be great. I would love to do a Mandao series.
Well, Scott had been talking about it.
Chop it up.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like, I actually talked to Liang about this recently, but making a 30-minute movie and chopping it up,
into like 10-minute segments.
Right.
Yes.
5-10 minutes. Yeah.
Because I've heard this before. I think other people have done the same thing. They'll turn their feature and then cut it up
Yeah.
Because this could easily be that, and then just keep adding on to it after that.
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet cut out for a second, so I don't know if you said this already, but like one of the things we talked about, Scott, is that you've created this world that's so fun and these characters have such great relationships. It would be so easy to create a series of adventures based off of this one world that you've created. I mean, there's so much to do and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could also be an animated series.
Oh,
We thought about that too.
oh man.
We're open to that.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta talk more. We gotta talk more. Cause
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Give
And,
Pixar a ring.
Well, you know what?
No, but
That's actually
they
one
are.
of the things. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, sorry. That's one of the things that I find really fascinating about this series and about your films in particular, which is that they're you could bring a whole family could go to the drive-in, especially now in COVID, and the kids wouldn't be freaked out or anything. It wouldn't be offensive to the kids, and you're doing this style of comedy that's really harkens back to, like, to me, it's Abbott and Costello. So
Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're in this age where everything is just sort of mean in a sense. And you're doing this complete 180 away from that. So where does that come from?
Well, you mentioned it, like with the Abbott and Costello. Although when I was growing up, my dad had me watching stuff like Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers and Mad World. And I always thought it was really great. And also Napoleon Dynamite is wonderful because, that movie is really clean, but it's so funny and it's classic, and I love that kind of thing. I think it actually takes a little more talent to do something like that than just throw mean-spirited stuff. Yeah.
The other thing too that Scott and I usually talk about is that I think everybody else in Hollywood is trying to be edgy. They're trying to put more nudity, more sex, more gore, violence and stuff, and just everyone's trying to be so extreme. And I think doing something different becomes unique and stands out. So we like to do that. We like to be quirky. We like to be covered up and not try to be so edgy, not try to be so cool. We're the anti-cool. So.
Well, old school really comedy still stands. Like, I'm a big Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, variety show, physical comedy. There's a lot of that between you and Sean, so it's the kind of comedy that I miss seeing more of. And edgy's fine, but I think people tend to forget that this comedy is still funny. Like,
right.
Totally. Right. I think you can go even edgier when you have heart. You know what I mean? Like, you get some dig into some real complex relationships when you have heart underneath it.
Yeah. We're not allergic to edgy, but I just think that right now, I guess people could use a dose of this Saturday morning feeling.
Yeah.
Even you, Sean Liang, you remind me of Paul Lynde. Your character. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
Oh, great.
I'll have to look him up. Paul Lynde.
Did you ever watch Bewitched reruns?
Yeah. Oh, Paul Lynde is hilarious. He was from Bye Bye Birdie. I saw that movie, and he was hilarious in that. I actually saw a documentary on him recently. It was kind of tragic. Anyway. Oh, by the way, in this scene right here, look at Jenny's screen. Oh, okay. When Jenny's doing the scene, actually, Sean McBride is in the background sitting down, but I did the color correct so you couldn't see him.
Oh.
But Sean, you were just on your phone, like,
what? I didn't even remember that.
Good.
Oh my
God. If I'm not AJ, in the comments, let us know. But wasn't this during the daytime? This shot, and you lit it.
The night scenes were shot in the day.
This one?
I believe so. I
bought it. It looks like another drone shot. The power of color grade. Yes.
I like that you mentioned Napoleon Dynamite because I love the Hess directors because they also made Nacho Libre, and that's the kind of comedy I love because it's so quirky and there's a lot of emphasis on the characters, which you don't see a lot of in comedy. I think a lot of comedy relies on like their shock factor, like shock humor, and like the script being funny. But
Yeah.
it's very rare when I find a feature film that I'm genuinely laughing.
Yeah.
And their films are some of the best I've seen in comedy. So
Yeah, there was the one Hess did recently, which was Masterminds or something.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was really funny, and I want to see more from them. You know?
yeah.
I like Liang's surprise here when you come through. It's really good. He's like, what?
We're good. I love
Hollywood
it.
Squares.
Oh man. Yeah, this was actually we shot this film really fast. Like how many pages? We were like shooting, I don't even know. Nacho. I think we shot like 10 to 15 pages a day. It was really insane.
The world needs more young uncle bromances. You're right, Johnny. Johnny's my new brother-in-law. By the way. Johnny married my sister Laura recently, and you're right, Johnny. You're right. You got to give more of that. There's a market for that.
Yep.
Gina, this is the first time we see you in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first kind of turned into a mess in this movie. So, can you speak about that?
Well, Fur turned into a mess. Well,
Yeah.
her character, she is a rideshare driver, and in the Mandao universe, it's called bum rides. And so she is really tired of doing that. She's not making enough money, and we all know living in LA is super expensive. So she, one of her clients is a drug dealer known as Siggy. But Siggy, I'll just give a spoiler because who cares? Siggy dies of an overdose, so she kind of takes over that. And it's like she gets caught up in the money. I think a running theme in this movie is greed. And so you see that with Cousin Andy. You see that with Burr, and you see a little bit with Mandao when he's like, we're going to be rich. Like he gets so caught up on like making money because his life has turned to crap. So the only character that has actually stayed true and innocent in this whole movie is Jackson. Jackson's the only one who's like, no, forget about the money. Like we got to do what's right. And he kind of helps set Jay Mandao straight and talk to Cousin Andy, Fur, and Jay about doing the right thing. So I think that's a super important moment, which we'll see later on in the film.
Yeah, McBride, how's it playing a character who comes off as completely clueless all the time?
It's fun, actually. It's a lot of fun. And that Gina made a really good point that maybe I even missed, actually. But Jackson is like kind of the counterbalance to Jay. So you have two characters that are kind of, they're going in different directions, you know, but through Jackson's naivety or whatever you call it, it keeps Jay grounded. So it's like, it's interesting dynamic. The more that these characters grow, it'll be interesting to see how their relationship will evolve. But yeah, that was a really good point, Gina. I never really kind of thought about it like that.
Yeah.
He's like the only character that's basically, I mean, we talked about this when we right before we did Mandao of the Dead, where Jackson's character was going to be like kind of like a kid, you know, like he's like a child.
Childlike innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, and I didn't want to go full kid, you know, so it's like.
Well, actually, on that matter, right, you came over to the apartment and we worked on this, actually. And you did go full kid for just an experiment, right?
Yeah. The rehearsals that we would do at Scott's old apartment in Koreatown, right before they had moved, when we did Mandao of the Dead, we would go over there and rehearse. And so it was like, it's kind of a, you know, a hard balance. You don't want to be, if you do too much of a kid vibe with that character, it definitely wouldn't work. But he's just naive, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good and it's great because being a naive person can lead to interesting comedic choices. So.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing about McBride is that he has this vibe about him that you want to take care of him. You want to take care of him, but he's also extremely likable. He's extremely likable right off the bat. I learned that from Schlepp. You know, I hadn't worked with him other than in a classroom setting during our movie Schlepp. And, you know, I walked away from that movie having a lot of respect for you, man, because you're just you're a really good character. You're a good person. Your heart shows through, your actual heart.
Thank you.
I could use it for days.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Oh, there's Aura possessing Jackson. That was fun.
Jenny actually crawled into the tent in one take, and then we cut, and then had a light come on. Woo!
Fancy.
Yeah,
What,
so
no CGI?
cloning trick
What's
there.
that?
Sorry, what?
Huh?
I was making a bad joke. No CGI? Sorry.
No,
You're like, oh shit.
can't afford it.
You couldn't afford it.
No, good. Yeah, I say good.
I think practical effects work better.
Definitely.
Me too.
Because I think the CGI, it's getting better, but it's still not there. I think sometimes it can take you out of it. So I think like lighting tricks or camera tricks and cloning shots and stuff, that's mainly what we used in order to pull off any of the effects that we had.
Yeah.
Practical is
And then
always
this
better.
time we had a fog machine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just
all the way.
I like the old Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
it's so much
yes.
better. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well, they're doing that with Mandalorian, thankfully. They're not.
Yeah.
right with the
going-
baby Yoda and everything.
Well,
Yeah.
also with the way they're shooting against an actual screen where you can see the backgrounds that they're shooting against. I thought that for Mandalorian, I was like, wow, if indie people could get a hold of this technology, it would be a game changer.
Even like the old Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but you are so immersed in that world. And they do miniatures, they do all sorts of practical stuff. There's no CGI, and it's just practical stuff brings you into the movie so much better, I feel like, than CGI. As soon as you see something that's fake, it takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's
And
just
Absolutely.
JD Smith, VFX, he says VFX should help enhance the shot, not be the shot. And I do 3D VFX animation.
a
You're
great
right.
point.
The truth is I knew that I'm not a VFX animator like yourself, actually. And the more subtle the effects, the better for a movie this size. I'm not fooling anyone.
Yeah.
So just really my special effects in these movies are the actors, the story, the camera work from our DP, the sound work from our sound mixer, Rakesh Anderson. He's not here, but he should be. He really should be. Right, Sean? Right? Okay.
He's playing
Sean M. has some great
he's busy playing his bass.
Hey, Sean.
Sean McBride, I always crack up when you're wearing that ninja costume.
Yeah, I love those shots. I love those quick shots.
Tim Morrell says, hi, Tim, by the way. He says, Scott and Sean M. have such great comedic chemistry that has grown over the years. Thank you very much for that. We've actually been honing this for a bit.
Yeah.
For a little bit. Back in that, remember JD Coburn? Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you know him too.
Well, the thing is the more you work with people, the more comfortable you get being around them. And as far as strictly acting is concerned, the more comfortable you are and the more relaxed you are, the better the acting is going to be. And definitely speaks volumes for people that like to improvise. And I don't know, a lot of people don't know this or not, but Schlep was almost completely improvised, actually. We did little to no rehearsing, and we would just kind of shoot the scenes, and whatever happened. So Schlep is a very, very unique film in that aspect, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that. And Scott allows a lot of in the scenes we can improvise a lot, and he allows that, and that's a great trait for a director to have.
Yes,
I think.
it is.
Thank you, guys. The thing is, a process we have for these movies, and this is no different. We definitely rehearse because actually, Sean, you're correct about the first Schlep, but I made a mistake not rehearsing with you guys. So by the very last version of Schlep, we did rehearse.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I'm not Larry David, all right? I never will be. I need to know what we're doing.
Well, you're learning.
Yes, Schlep is Yiddish slang. Yep, it is.
Yeah, I think it stands for
An awkward journey.
An awkward journey.
And
Yeah.
by the way, if you go back up in the comments, General Scant said there's a fantastic little shout out to Poltergeist by Sean Liang at the end of the film, which is an incredible film with no CGI. And I just want to say thank you for pointing out. You definitely got it. You got the nail on the head.
I didn't know
That it was Poltergeist. We definitely got that from Poltergeist. So thanks for noticing.
I want to give credit to, I think Gina, help me out here. Who are we giving credit to? Didn't AJ, wasn't he like?
Oh no! So what happened was we were talking about Poltergeist because we wanted to show in another scene in Astral where it was you and the Shanzes. We put the chairs stacked on top of each other, but you couldn't really see it as well in the background, and that was we were alluding to Poltergeist. It was sort of a nod to Poltergeist.
In the seance scene.
Yeah, for the seance scene. And then AJ suggested for the end credit scene that we because I did the whole she went through my soul part from Poltergeist. And then AJ suggested we do that for the end credit scene. So thanks AJ for that.
Yeah. Another testament to the fact that everyone on these movies really, they kind of give great ideas and make it much better.
Mike Merriman, schlep is a Yiddish word, actually.
Mike Merriman got the headshots from headstones from Poltergeist, not the bodies. Yeah, I know they use like real bones. They
used real cadavers, real skeletons.
Yeah.
That was human skeletons.
So how did this work, Scott? Do you think it turned out good?
Yeah, I do.
I actually want to jump in here because this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I think you guys playing each other was one of the funniest things I have ever seen.
Oh, thank God.
And I just want to know, you talked about it earlier, your history of working together, but the mannerisms were dead on. And I just, if I wasn't already sold on the film, this is what sold me right here, So what was it like playing each other? Well, each other's characters. I don't know. How close are the characters to you guys?
Wait, I love this moment that Jenny does. She sniffs.
Yeah, the sniff's so good.
I love
That's a great question, Chuck. This is, well, first of all, we weren't doing each other. It was more like, I think these characters are definitely a little different than from ourselves. But what we did was Gina was filming our rehearsals, Sean and I. So I would play Jay. And Sean, you would play Jackson. We'd do it how we would do it in real life, right? Like how we would do it in the movie. And then what would happen is I would send Sean the video so that he could study my mannerisms. I could study his mannerisms. And I really stressed to you. I was like, dude, we have to make this work. This was it. This kind of, a lot of the movie hinged on that working, actually. Yeah.
And I would go back and watch Mandao of the Dead. I watched it actually quite a bit, just to pick up on the mannerisms and stuff. Plus, me and Scott have known each other for a long time, so it's, we kind of, you pick it up even when you're not in the scene, just being around each other as friends. But it
was fun.
Yeah. It's that's another, like you were saying, Chuck. It's, as an actor, it's great to be able to have that as a challenge. That's always what you want when you're working on it.
I know. I love that poster.
The cutoff stuff out loud. Very stripper cop.
Are you going to make this movie?
What, Mars Cop?
Yeah, come on.
If we had
awesome.
more money,
a parody trailer.
What I really wanted was some scenes. So I wanted to extend the news announcement of her overdose and show clips of the Mars Cop. But we didn't have money for that, So I think, but the cool thing about this, if we do get to make a series, is that we can always bring characters back and we can always, show more clips of Mars Cop and the Mandao universe and
Wait, right here. Look at this timing.
This is so good.
Oh, we don't get. Oh, I can't see it on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
You guys arrive at the door frame at the same time. Yeah.
Well, these shots are done in one shot. Like this shot right here doesn't cut. Right. We do a lot of long takes when we
call them oneers.
Yeah, the oneers. Hey, my cousin Andy. He says I need some brownies. What?
Oh. The other thing too, which is funny, I like that how when James Jackson are cops and they use the Viper grip as a way to detain someone. I think that would be funny. Just with all the cop stuff that's been happening in the news, I think that could be cops should take note.
Yeah.
Use non-violent Viper grip to.
But there seems to be some commentary there as well. I mean, I guess you shot this before the major things happened last year, but there was stuff that going on over in the years preceding that. So
yeah. Oh yeah, Aura's bedroom is a completely different location. Yeah, so the bedroom of Aura's house is actually the bedroom in Marissa's house, so in the other location. We only use 2 locations.
Movie magic.
Yep.
I love this shot too.
What made you want to set it around Christmas?
The first one was Halloween. I really, the next step after Halloween is Christmas, because those lights, man, I just love those lights. Halloween's my favorite because I love pumpkins. I love the lights, the orange and everything.
Yeah.
After that, Christmas. And, you know, like if we ever did a third movie, like what would it be? Tim actually, when we were doing of like another watch party, he was saying, could it be New Year's Eve? I was like, oh, maybe. Interesting.
Yeah, I like Liang's hair here.
Oh, I know, it's all messy.
It's so funny.
Sean,
I think it sells it.
New Year's.
Liang, cousin Andy, you right here. I love. You were like, I'm gonna rub my belly. Like you kind of did this thing where you were rubbing your belly where you were stabbed in a different dimension, and I really love that because it's like you're feeling echoes of something.
And
I
even
feel
your reaction when you're like, "Who's Ted?" and like your reaction of that too was really good.
Well, Sean is a very a collaborative actor, and there was a lot of. I think there was a scene we were talking about that wasn't making sense, and you're like, why does Aura show up here? I don't get it. And I was like, well, and you kept telling me, and I was like, holy shit, yeah, why is she showing up in this one scene? And I was like, you're right, let's take it out. He reads the whole script and actually marks things down. It's really, really cool. I love, all these actors are pretty freaking cool. As you must know. Oh, there she is. There's Fur.
Ah,
Yeah, this is where Fur's really a mess now.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's why I relate to her so much in this scene. I love her.
Because who doesn't hate what they do sometimes, especially if they're doing a really crappy day job, to make ends meet. So I used to be like, I used to just take whatever day job I could get. I used to be a barista. I used to be an assistant to an actress who I shall not name. I actually can't name. But, there's like things here where you just hate yourself.
Fur is a really great character. Actually in an old draft before we did this draft, Fur was a smaller part. There was a character named Siggy that I wrote for someone else, and I was like, this would actually be better if Siggy was Fur, and it tied in way more with this group. And I thought you did a great job, Gina. And
thank you.
Yeah.
It was better and more cost effective, actually. The
And it was
less
cool. I'd rather give it to you.
you can have on your set, the better.
Yeah.
Were there any other story developments that you lost to
Yes, I did.
rewrites?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was a main bad guy named Leon who was an old serial.
He worked with your dad, right?
Yeah, he worked with my dad. There was this bad guy named Gion who worked with my dad Raymond with the cereal company, and he had some nefarious things he was planning against Mandao cereal, and it actually played into it. Actually, I think that we could. There's a lot of stories that come up for Mandao, and I don't think there's any bad ones, but it's just sometimes they're not right for right now.
Well,
but,
it was an astral thing, right? Like you were going to have a hard time doing it in astral.
Oh yeah,
it was like a fight scene that we were going to have to do that was in astral. I remember.
Yeah, and it went back to like the 1990s, and I'm like, look, I don't have the stuff for that right now. Maybe next time. Like we're gonna have to get Macintosh computers and
get it all period correct.
Yeah, adding Jenny's character was a much better choice for us.
Oh
Yeah.
Totally, she rocked it.
And can you comment on the name Mandao? Because it seems to confuse a lot of people, and I have to.
Yeah, I actually regret ever making it Mandao because people are like,
Really?
Yeah, I do regret it, but then sometimes I'm like, fuck.
No, but it's strange, and so once people get used to it, then it becomes unique and it becomes iconic. So
And I'll say about the name. Like I know it's one of the things that you have to like get the palate for once you understand. But I think the fact that it's like, and this is something that Scott and I also spoke about earlier. But like the fact that it's named Mandao, that's the family name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really brings the family in on it.
Yeah.
And something that you were saying earlier about like, this is a small family of a cast and crew. And like we don't have a script supervisor, a line producer. We are doing all of that. So like you know, when we collaborate and we're helping each other out, you know, we're all responsible for telling the story.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things. Mandao makes it feel like a family product, you know?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's another reason for bringing Cousin Andy into it more. I, like you, Liang, I want to see more. We're kind of a mixed family in this movie. I don't know if we ever kind of really mentioned that, but I mean, I really enjoy you feel like my cousin.
I know,
like,
it's just natural,
like my
man.
actual cousin. It's really strange. And
Sorry,
all
real
these,
cousin Andy.
huh?
I said sorry, real cousin Andy.
Yeah, sorry, Andy. Oh shoot. But yeah. Let me comment on the scene right here. This scene is extremely important to the movie. I don't know why I relate to this scene so hard, but I do. The driven nature of what Aura is doing. Like, she's very driven. She is willing to do whatever it takes to kind of climb the ladder in Hollywood. And it was one of my favorite things in this movie. I've always wanted to make a kind of an unhinged actor movie. And so this is perfect.
Unhinged.
Yeah, I mean, unhinged is right.
Yeah. Well,
I
Jenny,
like this move, Jenny. All the actors.
oh,
That's my favorite.
Jenny, talk about
That's
the rehearsal process. We only had one day with you, Jenny, I think, to rehearse with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah.
And yet, you were still one of the few people that ever directed me, because what happens, and I think I told you this, Scott, but what happens with me specifically a lot is that because of what I do and like my internet work and stuff, if someone casts me in their project, for some reason they have almost too much faith in me and they just let me do what I want and they don't really direct me. And it's incredibly frustrating because I still want to be directed. And so then usually that doesn't always end up giving me the best product that I'm proud of. And so then I see it and I'm like, oh, that was not a good choice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was very lucky that despite like the time crunch, because again, I wasn't initially the one cast in this role, and I had to like look over the script and, you know, but Scott did a great job. We did rehearsals, which again, not everybody does. Scott is what people call an actor's director, because you are also an actor.
Thank you.
That definitely helps.
I think it's important for directors to take acting classes, because I think what a lot of indie filmmakers in particular fall into a trap where they understand what good acting is when it comes to Hollywood movies, but then when it comes to making their own like independent films, they tend to ignore what they think is good acting, or somehow that gets lost in translation. And so you get a lot of really bad indie films that could have had a lot of potential, but maybe fell short because of the acting.
Well, yeah. Well, I really love actors. You know, I already know Sean. I know Gina. I had met Liang on the last movie and really was a fan. And then with Jenny, I saw her channel and I was like, okay, wow. She can play pretty much anything. To me, I actually think a lot of directors kind of try and it's like, oh, you played this character, so you should just play this character. For me, I'm like, if you can play multiple characters very well, to me, I'm like, you pretty much can play almost anything. And I knew, well, maybe instinctually that well, Jenny, you'd be very right for this. I knew it wasn't what you were playing a lot, but I knew you could do it. And I like to brag real quick that I was correct. This cast right here is doing it, you know. So it's really fun, kind of like an Adam Sandler situation. It's a family, and
that's what I like to do too with my stuff, is like working with people that I know.
Yeah.
Well, an important point to make here is that as far as cinema is concerned, it's a director's medium. So if you have a director that's kind of letting you just willy-nilly do whatever you want, it's probably not going to turn out very good. You have to have a director that's got a vision. They have to have a tight script. And as an actor, you need that director to tell you what to do. Otherwise, you've just got people kind of just speaking lines, and there's got to be a focus to it. So Scott's great at that, you know, and everybody that you've brought on board with this movie are great actors. So,
Yeah.
but even the greatest actors are kind of left hanging if they don't have good direction. It's just how film works. Like you have to have a director with a vision to get what you want.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
General Scan. So we will have probably by spring, I'll make announcements on social media, but we are going to be selling these guys. They are handmade. We do have a video on YouTube on how we made them. We're going to be making a lot of merch, so stay tuned for that, including cereal boxes, DVDs and Blu-rays. We have a VHS up there. So
look who's here, everybody! Look who's
hey,
David!
We got Abrams plays Darth in Mandao of the Dead. Hi.
What up, Darth?
I like that David had that little bit of a narrative at the beginning of the film too. I like that you put that in.
the voiceover.
That's awesome.
With David, let me ask, is David still here?
Hey, hold on, come
Hey,
back.
David, can I talk to you right there?
Hold on a second.
It's Darth.
I don't know if you can hear.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Darth, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey.
Hey, would you ever be interested in returning to the Mandao world? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, just wanted to ask. I wanted to ask while you had pressure on you from this.
No, man, I'm totally down.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. This is a casting call right now. This just happened. That was about
Well, it is one of my favorite ways to work. I love.
Oh, for sure.
It's great. I mean,
Well, the story that you've created allows for all of that.
yeah.
Anybody can come back. The way that it's the way you've got it set up. So it's pretty
There's
cool.
so many ways people can come back. And the other thing too is, when you mess with time, and if you believe in like parallel universes and things like that, like there's so many ways that this Mandao universe can play out. So we really want to make a series, and we're willing to work with anyone. We're willing to work with anyone who wants to work with us. So, just putting that out there for anyone watching.
Well, I'm putting this out here. Hold on. Look at Sean pop up, and look, he looks like he crapped his pants.
I thought that shot was going to be a lot further away than it was. I was like, oh, this looks really awkward.
Sorry. I love it though. I laugh every time.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so crazy.
Okay, so the drug in this movie is called party favors. Okay,
Yeah.
It's a new drug. No one's ever heard of it. It's not cocaine. It's nothing. It's party favors. And I wish if I had more time, I would have kind of gone into what the effects would be for who's taking it. But oh well, maybe next time.
Well, speaking of time, the movie's what, 70 minutes long?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what made you want to cut down? Because I know the first one was a lot longer. Was that an intentional choice?
Yeah, first of all, the first movie was fun to me, but one of the first notes I did as a director, I was like, this movie needs to move faster. I kind of wanted it. I wanted to challenge myself to better pacing and basically everything. I thought 70 minutes. I actually almost went 60 minutes, Chuck. But actually 70 minutes is what I needed for the movie. And I think the shorter the indie movies can be, the better, which is actually why I'm actually considering shorter episodes. Oh, right here. This is one of my favorite scenes. A lot of
Yes.
action.
Put the headphones on.
Put the headphones on, bitch.
Put the headphones on, bitch.
Oh,
I love the
this is one of the best headbutts in movies.
No, but what I love is that it hurts her too.
That's what I see it all the time in movies. I'm like, that would just hurt.
Yeah.
And so it was like a perfect reaction.
Yeah.
Another clone
really
shot.
cool.
I learned how to do
love
clone
that.
shots and all sorts of things. I actually, the COVID-19 really led to me deciding like, well, if it's not me doing the post-production, no one's gonna.
Yeah.
So I actually am walking away from this movie. I enjoyed the movie, but the experience I had on this movie, putting it together is, I guess, unmatched. I've never had a movie where I've done this much. Usually I have other people helping, but I do want to say one thing. I had a composer from the last movie, Holland Thomas. He returned for this movie, but he also was backed up by Penka Kuneva, who is a fantastic composer. She's done video games and movies, and she really took this movie's score and really added to it. I really think her score draws you in as an audience. Also, Tom Marks, he helped me. I put the sound design together myself, but he turned it into a 5.1 mix and mixed it. And I was just so thankful to these people, these angels who came in after the fact and really made this movie sing. Harold Hohenthal as well with the drone stuff, and AJ and Rakesh. The team behind the camera is so clutch. They're so good. They're so good. I don't even deserve them, but I'm very thankful to be working with this crew. Rakesh Anderson too, even though you're not here.
Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, paella or something.
Ted and Aura, I actually wanted to see more of them.
Yeah.
Like I would have, I don't know, like flashbacks to just their career working together.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Actually.
There was a scene where if we had more money, we would have had Aura's character kind of come to us. Like we would have gone to the astral world, the TV would have turned on, and we would have seen Mars Cop, and then she would have come out of the TV. And there's all this great stuff I wish I could do. I just, sometimes I don't have the money for it.
Well, Jenny, this scene was real. This whole sequence was really intense. Can you talk about the, the way you guys kept ratcheting it up here?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely using some of my actual real life and putting it into this, because I was at the time bumping heads with my then manager, who's also a man. And there's this kind of energy. I now have a talent manager who's a woman, and look, it's just different energies. I just didn't, it kind of reminded me of the dynamic that Aura had with Ted. It just wasn't like the healthiest, lots of arguing all the time, controlling, so it actually made it easier for me. Not that that was at all fun for me to go through, but, and as an actor myself, and, we can all relate to that desperation of like, I want to make it so badly. So almost like exaggerating my psychology times 1,000 to get to that.
What was it like?
Well, it can
what
be
was it like working with Jim as Ted?
It made it very like it was flawless to me, because he embodied that character so well. Like he really does come off like this douchey talent manager.
Yes.
Who's only in it for the greed and the money, and he's trying to milk you for all you're worth,
That's like Hollywood.
And I really like that. And it's funny because when I was seeing our height difference and everything, because I'm 5'1", and I don't know how tall
he's 6'5". He's 6'5".
Yeah, all right. Okay. So
he's really tall.
But it's really it's really nice to play a role like this, because again, when I do go out and audition, a lot of times people get me wrong. They send me to like Latina mom making sandwiches for her toddlers.
Yeah.
I know that I am of the age to have children, many children perhaps, but I just don't like, that's not who I would never cast myself in these like cutesy girl next door, sweet, tender roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so being able to play a character like Aura is fantastic for many reasons. And now I have a reel that can show people this is what I want to play.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to shout out to AJ. That scene that we just saw, the pool scene.
Yeah.
It came out it looks so good. The water effect is so awesome.
AJ is actually, he should be here tonight. Sorry, man. Where are you? I love you.
He's in the chat.
AJ has been kind of a mentor to me. He was there on my first movie and kind of put up with my extreme inexperience. I guess he could say that for this movie too, in a way. But no, we work good together, and I think that people should shout out the people behind the scenes more. Yeah. AJ Young. First of all, I know if you're looking to make a movie, hire this guy. He has your back. He really cares about the story. Yeah. It's not a selfish thing. He really cares about making your story sing. And get Rakesh Anderson too, who didn't show up to this. How dare you? No, he's really great. He's a sexy bastard too. But yeah, our crew is really a part of this team, this family. You know, yeah, you see all the actors here right now. We're definitely part of the same family, but so is the crew, and it wouldn't be the same without them. And yeah, let's talk about this. 5'1" for Jenny, and Jim is 6'5". I just thought that the height difference was great.
Yes.
And look at him right there. He's like just peeking out like.
Towering over.
And he puts it back. Yeah, it's great. Mandao shirt and the colors is like.
Oh, I know. We always pick really odd
Randy.
shirts for Jaden's
Yes.
character.
Randy says, I keep seeing Mandao's shirts and the colors, designs, scream 90s. That's my childhood. I love it. Randy, yes. The shirt that I'm wearing in Mandao, we got that from Ross, a Ross store. Oh, this is a great stuff.
I love that you're so tiny, Jenny, but you overtake Cousin Andy, who's like.
You know what it is? I believed it. I know. You know, it's like an intimidation or something.
You know what? Because it's real. I have Chihuahua complex. People are always shocked. They're like, "You have a grip," and I'm like, "Damn right, I have a grip."
You have a grip. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah.
That's what I like about this.
Well,
you
this
know,
thing right.
My size. Don't cast me in little mini mousy roles. You know.
Yeah. You can use these things uniquely. Well, right here in the garage, this is I'd like to give a lot of credit to AJ here again.
Oh my God.
This is a great scene. What I think, this scene has a great ominous feeling to it. There's this light that's swinging soon. You'll see that was added later, but it gives a sense of a really unbalanced, scary sequence. Thank you, AJ. This was actually his idea.
So
I want to point one thing out real quick.
Oh, yeah.
As we're moving into the garage, Gina, your line there is so funny, and I don't know if people catch it or not, but it's so funny that we're like being led into the garage, and you make a distinction. She's like, "It's not a cell phone; it's a finger gun." That's important to know. Like
I said, it's a finger gun, not a boner.
Well, in
that's
the
what it was.
movie, Fur enters the house.
That's so
Fur
funny.
enters the house with a finger gun.
Yeah, like it's like you need to make that distinction. It's important that it's important that she corrects these people on.
Someone commented to me that this scene really freaked them out. You know?
Yeah, I know. It's funny how people get creeped out by certain things. Like for Scott and I, because we've looked at it so much, we're not creeped out by it. But for some people, like this is such a scary scene, nowhere to run. It's true. And then you think at this point, what can they do to fix this? And it's like only if Jay Mandao was stabbed more times and didn't survive, it would be game's over for the rest of the cast. So, or the characters. Yeah.
I love Gore's house. I feel like it is the most horror set that we've had. I don't know if that's it. Just like the pool, like the like it just felt like. It just reminded me of like the Scream series.
Rakesh had that ghost experience, remember?
I mean, well, the lady couldn't be nicer, the owner, but her house had this sort of, you know what, during the set, I don't know if you remember this, Sean, you guys were here at the time, doors were opening on their own. Yeah,
well, Rakesh also heard somebody breathing in his microphone in that back bedroom. Like because he left the mic on in the house, and we were all outside, and he heard like breathing in the microphone.
Yeah, we have a lot of supernatural stuff going on. Laura, my sister, says, I'm a huge fan of horror, but this was a new experience seeing my brother and sister-in-law die. And it made me so sad and made me miss you both so bad. I love it. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry that I killed them.
Sorry that I killed them. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I still have to make a character named Laura for my sister.
Aww.
I'm going to do it. I promise. I said I would. I will. Right here.
There's a quote in a movie, House of Seven Corpses, where it's about a film crew making a crappy horror movie in this haunted house. And there's a line that, no, dying's easy, living's hard. So what do you think of that now that you've played?
Dying's easy, living is hard. I think I'm a big believer. And, you know, the reason I'm making these movies is I have a lot of questions. Huh?
I'm just saying hi to Manasa.
Hi, Manasa.
What's up, girl?
What up, Manasa? Shout out.
Well done.
Nice. No one did that, Mike. I don't know why they didn't do that.
They did now.
Them the Corona beers and everything, and they didn't do that. Yay. So Oh, I lost my track. Chuck,
Dying, yeah, dying's easy, living is hard.
yeah, I think about, you know what I was wondering? I'm like, why am I making movies about this? Why am I so interested in the afterlife? And it's because no one talks about it. I'm like, what? I want to know more. Stop beating around the bush. What happens when you die? I think it's easier. What's easier, guys, living or dying? What do you guys think, real quick?
Who knows?
If you're alive, you don't have a choice. So you're either going to kind of have to write it out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we're all going to die eventually. So I don't know. You can make arguments for both. But living's pretty damn hard. You know?
Considering this last year,
Yeah,
I feel like dying's a little too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe dying is easy. I don't know.
I don't know.
Thank
I
you,
feel
Laura.
like with regards to horror films, especially, like I grew up a slasher fan, like Die Hard, like loved it. But I started at one point, I started to realize that they're not good if I don't care about the people dying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
That's a
need
good
some
point.
life from you before I care about your death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
Friday the
love that.
13th, you know, Friday the 13th, you've got all these people are just
Yes.
getting hacked and slashed to death. You don't care, you
You
know.
see them for 5 seconds on screen and then they're gone.
Yeah.
I gotta care.
Hey, and then you kind of became a slasher in American Horror Story.
That's right. I played one on TV.
That's true.
Ah.
It's tribal, y'all. It all comes back.
Mhm. Oh, I love this scene. I think it's very touching, where Jay gets to talk to his dead father again.
We're kind of wrapping up that storyline here, I think, you know. Yeah.
You're coming into your own.
Right.
And if
And
you
I love the transition too. I like how he's like we pan over and see it.
Yeah. Me
really
too.
quick though,
It
if you
worked
look,
really
you
well.
can see the shadow of Alexandre Chen's ghostly character. Well, it was
Well,
there.
it's harder to see on here, but yeah, you're right. You can see the shadow. And
Yeah.
And then there he is.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Mike says, I love this scene before. It was cool. Also, Willow the Rose says, the mask is creepy. Where did it come from? We actually got it from a costume shop. There it is. We got it from a costume shop in Magnolia, Burbank, that area. It is
The
creepy.
Halloween Town one?
What's
Halloween
that?
Town.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I love that place.
I'm always there. I'm not now, but that's my favorite area.
That's
So
awesome. That is awesome.
we got some really cheap paint from was it Michael's, and we started making it look really dirty.
Yeah.
So it's all chipped and it's dirty looking. And then different fun fact, Scott, Sean McBride, and who else? Did one of our PAs also
Played the
this character? But a few people put on this costume to play the character because we didn't actually have a designated person to play the cult member. So fun fact.
Yeah, we wanted to get away from the William Shatner vibe with the mask. And get
Well, that reminded me a lot of Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh
man.
yeah. I just watched that movie like the other night.
Great.
I love
This
that
is
movie.
great because it actually had quite a bearing on this movie. I watched this channel on YouTube called Jay Myers.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
And he does documentaries on Eyes Wide Shut and what it means for actual Hollywood. And actually, that guy and I are actually working on a project together right now. I'm very excited for where that's going. But yeah, the Eyes Wide Shut had an effect on me as well, and it kind of leaked into this movie. Yeah.
No,
Wait,
there's
there's
no
an Eyes
orgy.
Wide Shut orgy in this movie? No, not in
There
this
is no
movie.
sex in our movies
It was in the garage.
on purpose.
On the Halloween franchise, got away from the Shatner vibe too, and whoo boy, yeah, I know. Once they got away from that first mask, it got kind of weird. Look at this. This is a great ending. Okay, this
What is
ending.
popcorn soup.
Popcorn soup, yeah. That's an idea I came up with myself, but then I Googled it, and people actually make popcorn soup.
Yeah, we thought it was fake, but it's real.
Yeah, we thought it was fake. It sounded like something you would use, right?
Everything is real on the internet.
Exactly.
Just my favorite line in the whole movie. I just got to add this this water to this boiling oil. Oh my god!
I was thinking, I was like, well, I burnt down the apartment before. How would you do that if you're making soup? That's one way to start a fire while cooking.
Yeah. God. Popcorn soup, popcorn and oil. Right, General Scant. So keep watching it, everyone. This movie is screaming for a continuation. I do, just between you and us, I think that it's going to continue in series form and on YouTube, something that you can look forward to every week or so. I think that's where we're going. Gina and I have been talking about it a lot. And here we go.
Oh, I love this scene. Oh my god.
Yes, I'm an unashamed cat person, so it touched me.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Baby girl.
Baby girl.
We're watching this. Oh my god.
I also read a lot of paranormal things on Reddit and people's stories about their cats coming back to them after they pass. I'm a sucker for that. So.
I like how he's got the fish cat toy.
I understand why Jackson is always home.
The wind.
It's everything.
The leaf blower.
So
it's my favorite moment in Poltergeist.
I want to ask.
Yes, Mike.
Mike brings up a very good point. Is this Blumhouse potential, or where do you guys see this? Is this a Shudder thing? Is this a Blumhouse? Is this what is this? Because it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's comedy.
I think it's a good fit for Shudder. They've really taken a lot of risks lately, and their stuff. They had that movie Host.
So good.
So many. Yeah, I really think Shudder, and they're looking for content. So
could be a good platform.
Really?
They just did the Critters series. I couldn't believe they made that into a series.
The Critters.
Yeah, they were like 10-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If they'll have us, we'd love to have them too. So.
Well, you could work a deal where they can have the rights to the first two films too, and then continue the series. I don't know. Like, I feel like however you have to thread that needle. Like, I've made projects where they just edit different versions for different markets. So,
yeah. I think that we should do the truth is this is a passion project. I'd love to see these characters develop more. So I've never Mandao'd before, and I've never watched Partied before, but I love both, and I'm definitely hooked. Thank you, Elena.
I love you, Elena. Thanks for watching.
Elena. Thank you so much.
There's a question that was asked in the beginning that should be answered. What does Mandao cereal taste like?
Yeah, you never answered that.
It's a secret.
I'll bet you anything. It's like Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms.
Mixed together.
I'll bet you anything.
Or it's just all marshmallows.
Yes.
Look at our Kickstarter subscribers.
While I have you guys here, all of you cast and people in the comments, would you guys like to see more of Mandao? I mean, because we don't want to do it if you don't care. But would you guys like to see more of it?
Yes.
I was about to offer all of my services and all my equipment.
Well, Jenny, you know what I noticed? I couldn't tell if you actually got killed at the end. It seems as if maybe there's some potential here. And I know that I talked to your husband recently.
She scampered away injured.
Some people did ask. Like, I had some friends genuinely. They're like, "Did you die?"
Oh, that's cool.
Obviously, I told them yes. But it is open to interpretation. And you know what? Like, any Doctor Who fans out there? I mean, oh my gosh, which Doctor? The 13th? No, oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on his name because I did not watch his season. But he was an actor in an earlier episode of Doctor Who during David Tennant's time. And then he became the Doctor.
Nice. That's amazing.
You know what I mean? But like, it's not the same character.
Right.
I was talking to Scott about like multiverse. Like, we could do, it could be anything.
We could do so many things.
I think we should do it, guys. I think that, after the show's done, we should figure out what we're doing next because it'll be fun.
Well, yeah.
I think so. There's a lot of potential here. And I'm not just saying that. I was a fan when I was just a viewer and a consumer of it. I really do see a lot of the potential. I think this is something that is missing from mainstream media. But of course, in order to get there, you have to prove yourself. You have to make your own stuff like you're already doing. but I think it's really important to have a fan base, but also, I mean, look at Broad City, look at a lot of these shows that started as web series and then got picked up, right? So like in today's day, scripts are not enough. They want to see it come to life. So
yes.
I know it's more work, but you guys have already proven that you can do it. A lot of us, again, I am super pumped. And like I said, you are more than welcome to use my services in any way, whether it's in front or behind the camera.
Well, I like what you do in front of the camera, so I'd love to figure out a way to do this because, the chemistry that we all have, I can say this to all your faces right now, the chemistry is worth continuing this for. I freaking love it. I'm already getting excited. So I think offline, we're going to all talk about this eventually and see what we can do. Yeah,
exactly.
Also, you could even do comic books too.
I know.
That's a great way to do story development,
Yes.
That's one of my dreams. I want to make Mandao a comic book and a video game because I think the video game would also be really fun. They can travel to different astral dimensions.
Oh my gosh.
And every level you can play a different character and every character has different abilities. Like Fur's character, like my character, for example, could be you're driving a car, or like or Cousin Andy can throw potions at enemies or like and Jackson has the Viper grip,
but there's go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be funny if that's an interesting idea if you made that a video game, but you made it like a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo style game.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah. It would be the classic.
It fits that. It just kind of fits the theme that we're running with. Where like it kind of looks like it's from the '90s,
With an 8-bit soundtrack.
Game would be great.
An 8-bit soundtrack, yes. I actually love 8-bit soundtracks already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, chiptune music all the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing too so Scott, just to throw a little bit more information out there, but Scott in a previous draft had a journal that kind of explained the origin of the Mandao family ancestry line of their abilities, and it was just I really want to bring that to life. So
yeah.
Backstory.
There's a lot there. That's why, serialized would really, really work. You guys already have merchant, like, look at all the stuff behind Gina. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff fans love. Like these little iconic, props and logos and things that people want to buy.
Yeah.
And you have so much of that. There's just a lot of good here. So
we should do something. Let's all do something because I think
official.
It's official. Let's all work on something. All these characters should return, and we'll see what we can give out to people as a series. All right. I'm just saying this right now. Everyone you see on screen, even
putting it out there
too.
Well, I'm always down. I'm always down, Scott.
Heck
You afforded me some great opportunities, man, and I really appreciate it. So,
hey, man,
anything you want to make, I'm 100% behind you.
And I've got, what? Hey, we're all family here. Look at this.
Yes. And welcome, Film Threat. You're part of our family now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. But it's truly the indie game idea is a really good idea in the sense that like there's so many of those indie downloadable games you can get for like $5, $10. Like I am guilty of downloading a lot of those. They're super fun and
easy to make too nowadays.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like if you talk to one of those indie game companies and partnered with them,
okay,
I don't know, it could be an
good idea.
And then somehow the game has to work its way into the next incarnation, whether it's a movie, a third film, or a series.
Yes.
Somehow the game has to work its way in it, which would be
I love that so much. Like you're right. It should be another level of telling the story, and then you play the game, then you watch the show or the movie or whatever. I love it. Comic book.
It would work.
It would.
If you look at a new level, and then there's like a demon or something, and you know what I mean? That could be like in the next movie or series or whatever season, whatever. Yeah, that would be great. That's my dream. Yeah.
See, I got a scoop. I got the scoop right here. But But I do think there's something to. I mean, trilogy. Everyone wants to do a trilogy. I feel like if you did this as a trilogy, you've already built the I don't know. I feel like there's ways. Maybe you build the tiers of your next Kickstarter, so it's like you do a game and a comic book, and I don't know. You can also do digital comics are less expensive in the sense that you're not printing them.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, Scott, I feel like if you do a third feature, you would, this is just me speaking, but it would have to be like you're bookending it, right? So you've got a 1, 2, and 3, and typically after your third, you end this the story.
Right.
But if you go the series route, you can continue to play with the idea, the characters, the astral projection and all that. So
yeah.
So if you made a third, that could be the end of it, and then you would have to move on to something new, or you can keep this going. So that for you, that would be like a tough question, I think. How do you want to proceed?
Or maybe you have Disney Plus buys the rights to the real story.
Oh shit!
And you confront the people that are playing you on the series coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And
Brilliant.
I love it.
the real story gets sort of sidelined to like the streaming series that's coming out. And Ben Affleck plays you in that series. That would be terrible. Don't use that.
That's the problem. I wouldn't.
Ben Affleck.
If someone wanted to partner with us, they would have to take the characters as is, because if you look, the majority of our cast is Latino and Asian, and I think that there's not enough opportunities for Latinos and Asians, and I would really like to see like a modern day Asian hero like Jay Mandao. But it's not like we're beating you over the head with our ethnicity, but it just so happens to star these people, and if we prove that we have a fan base, if we prove that we're good enough, then why recast us?
Yeah.
So
I feel you. I mean,
it's your, and the most important thing is this is your creation. You did this from the ground up. Like, this is wholly a new idea. You did it. So if you sell it out, that would be kind of selling out. But
we would pull a Sylvester Stallone. They didn't want him to be Rocky, but he's like, I just can't do it without doing it. And I respect him endlessly for that. Also, J.D. Smith DeGiaris. Careful, people. Third entries in movie series tend to suck. Not making this up, and you're right.
But make sure you make a joke in the film about third movies in a series sucking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's how you do it.
You're right.
Scene is opening scene. They're watching the rise of Skywalker, and then I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. You're right.
But no, I didn't mean that Ben Affleck would play you. I meant like the movie would be about your character, but like Ben Affleck is playing you on the Disney.
Keanu Reeves. I think Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves better, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have him in the series. I think what would be better is I would have the balls, hopefully, to say, "Hey, Keanu, will you please be in our movie?" He's like, "No." I'd love it.
What about Nicolas Cage?
Huh?
Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage might actually do it though.
Get Nicolas Cage for something.
No, you know what he'd be great for. So another storyline we wanted to incorporate is the Mandao Cereal Corporation. So for those who don't know, Jay Mandao, his father was the co-founder of the Mandao Cereal Corporation, and he passed away, and Jay gets his living off of cereal royalties. So we wanted whoever took over the Mandao Cereal Corporation to be part of this storyline as well. And it would be great if his name is Raymond Quimby, just to give you some more information, and it would be great if Nicolas Cage or someone like him played that. That would be like, he's a snooty, rich cereal corporation dude.
I want that to happen.
So Nick Cage, if you're listening.
Yeah, he's actually he's eating cereal.
Well, you could even have, if you got Nick Cage for a day, you could have Nick Cage be in the entire movie if you plan your shoot well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. I hear Jeff Goldblum.
yeah.
Really?
That would be cool.
Well, no, because I hear that he tends to be open to this stuff sometimes. Like that's what I hear around out here. There's some actors like A-listers that are, if they read the script and really like it, they might do it.
Yeah.
And I
why
hear
not?
he's one of them.
Ooh, he'd be great.
I did a movie years ago that I had Bob Odenkirk is in the movie.
Ooh.
And we only shot him for 30 minutes. And it's a lot. It's a comedy called My Big Fat Independent Movie, but he lives in the trunk of the two hitmen. So we just shot him for 30 minutes, and then every time they open the trunk, he's living in the trunk. It's really ridiculous. But the point is that you could hear his voice. So we had wild lines. Like if you only get an actor for like a short amount of time, you can actually really extend their being in the film. So there's really, I mean, you could get creative with that. Now, obviously, cut production down, you know, like, so I don't know. Just
Sounds great.
Wait, but the big question though, guys, how much does Nick Cage need? Like, how much do I need to get?
yeah.
Probably a lot.
Or Keanu? I mean, how much?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can pay him with pizza and pop.
And some Bitcoin. Get some Bitcoin in there.
Or you could do what they did on, I don't know if you saw Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie, the opening of the movie. They cast Johnny Depp in the film, but all they did was cast a Johnny Depp lookalike.
Hey, there's a pretty good Johnny Depp lookalike on Hollywood Boulevard.
No, but he looks so much like Johnny Depp. You're like, wait a sec, is that Johnny Depp? I mean, he's got kind of the bad teeth and like he's sort of scruffy looking. Like he looks like Johnny Depp, not in a movie. He looks like Johnny Depp in real life. But you got to watch the beginning of Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie that Jeff Goldblum is in, and he refers to himself as Chef Goldblum.
Yes. I love it.
You got it. Just, I think it's on YouTube. Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie, and just the first 15 minutes of it is just freaking brilliant. But I don't know. I feel like there's always ways to play with stuff like that and have fun, and it would be in tone. And I'm glad someone earlier brought up Back to the Future, because that's what I kind of felt. It's like a spiritual version of Back to the Future. Like there's aspects of it.
Okay.
And
I love that
in a good way.
Speaking of Back to the Future, my producing partner, Kevin, he is one of the biggest Back to the Future fans I know. Like he's part of all the committees and groups, and he's actually friends with some of the older actors from Back to the Future, and they're very open to collaborating.
Ooh,
That would be perfect. Like I'm not sure which actor specifically, but I know there's like one or two that Kevin knows personally, and he has all the Back to the Future connects, like all of them.
Okay, I gotta talk to Kevin soon, actually.
Okay,
Not to toot my own horn, but my mom worked on it.
wow.
Yeah, she's a makeup artist.
Oh, I never knew that, Chuck. That's cool. Okay, so Alan Ing, who works at Films at My Pal, can't you hire a celeb on Cameo?
Oh, you're right. You
We
could.
could.
Hire a celeb on Cameo and then work that into the film.
I mean,
I was gonna say maybe we can work
That
a
would
pitch
be
meeting in
weird.
on Cameo.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
That is, there must be some legal thing where like you're not going to put it for private use only, but I don't know.
Everyone
That's a
who's ever
great
done that
pitch.
posted all over
That's
Instagram.
good, Alan.
It all comes down to money.
Yeah.
yeah, money, the managers, the agents.
Well, what about you built up an audience from Kickstarter? That's not a small thing. Like, you know how to do that. Your audience is with you. I don't know. I'm sure they'd be around for a next round, whether it's comic book, animation, video game, or a third film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope they are around because it takes a lot of work to do this. And if we know that people are there and want to see more, it makes a difference. One way you can help right now is actually go on Amazon and leave a review.
Yeah.
It helps Amazon realize that we have worth, and it would be really helpful. But yeah, we want to give people more of this because we have a fun time doing it. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. That's my friend.
I mean, it's also like we have to just keep branching out our audience too. So, I'm trying to get more screenings and watch parties and things for this movie, because the more we do this, the more people get, they get their eyes on the Mandao universe and they start to love it. So it's about that. Rinse and repeat,
Well, Brandon says, love you, Sean, but which Sean? It'll forever
I
remain.
think that's Liang's.
That's my buddy from college.
He spelled Scott. Yeah, I think he spelled
Maybe he's
Scott.
not talking to you.
I don't have any friends, so.
He's still like Sean Moore.
Have any friends?
Oh, JD, that would be great. And you know what? That would be great because there's more storylines for the population cult. So that's in this sequel. So that would be great if we could get all of them to be part of the population.
Wow. Crispin Glover? That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
I bet he's Sean's dad, Sean McBride's dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I could
he's
do
so
it. We could do
edgy
it.
and weird.
As we're wrapping up, I want to thank everybody who's been watching and leaving comments and questions. And I want to get everybody's last thoughts before we sign off for the night. So, what are our final thoughts? We'll go around and we'll end with Scott and Gina. But what is everyone's final thoughts?
We're gonna start with me, I guess, and we'll work our way backwards. Things like this are rare, and in order to succeed doing it is even rare, and the amount of work that Scott and Gina put into this kind of thing is it's great to see, and it's just awesome to be a part of it. And I love making them. I love working with all everybody that was involved in front of the camera, behind the camera. It's a great team, like Scott's said. So hopefully we do a series or whatever. I'm down for whatever. So thank you, Scott and Gina. I appreciate it.
Thank
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say, like one of the things about being an actor is that you are always on new sets with new people, and you're always trying to, do your best around strangers. But there's something about coming back together with a group of people who have grown to be like a family of mine that made this so much more special. And like I said before, the collaboration between everyone really made it special. I hope that this is something that really brings us back together for like a lot more, because I think we've all got so much more to give. And under the constraints that we've had, hopefully that becomes freer and freer,
Yeah.
But I love everyone involved.
Love you too.
Sean. So sweet. I completely agree with Sean. I felt like I've known you all for a lot longer than I have, which was a really great feeling. It's just, you just know. It's like with any kind of friendship or relationship that you form, you just kind of know when you found people that you feel comfortable around, and that, like Sean says, they feel like family. And so I feel like we're all a bunch of like geeks and nerds and, into the same stuff. Yeah. And I definitely see this having a lot more to go. Like there's so much, there's so much more to the character development and the stories to tell in the universe. That this is only the beginning, even though you're kind of working backwards, because most people go from like small videos to like a feature. You did the really hard part, and now, not that serialized content is not, it's going to be its own level of difficulty, but I think the features helped prove that there's so much more to this world.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you. It was a pleasure working with you. We want to work with you again. So, Gina, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just leave it at this. By hook or by crook, we are going to make a Mandao series. So it's going to happen.
All right.
Yeah. So, I want to say thank you to Film Threat, Chuck and Chris. Thank you so much for hosting this. It's an honor to be on your site at all. And thank you, cast and crew, for doing such a great job and giving me such an entertaining time in the edit room. I love you all. You guys are family to me. And I definitely mean it when I say I want to continue the story with you guys. I freaking love you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love you. Yeah.
Awesome. And I want to thank everyone here for being a part of this. It's just really fun every week to bring to you independent films that you need to check out. So I hope we have you back when you do a third one for sure.
Absolutely.
And then next week, we're doing a watch party for a movie called On the Corner of Ego and Desire, directed by Alex Ferrari from Indie Film Hustle.
Nice.
Oh, do you know Alex? Oh,
Yeah.
So we're doing that movie to time with next week. The Sundance Film Festival starts. It's all online for the most part. They are doing some screenings in Park City. But On the Corner of Ego and Desire is all about taking a movie to Sundance. It's about a group of filmmakers that go to Utah to try to get their movie attention in Park City during Sundance. It's a lot of fun, a really fun comedy. And I want to thank everyone who's commented. Please come back. Every Friday we do watch parties. We occasionally do them on Sundays. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time for another Film Threat watch party. This was a blast, everybody, truly. Super.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great seeing you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.